guys, welcome back to the channel. Just out here doing a quick video of my two-wheel drive Slash build. Realized I never showed this thing on my channel at all. I've had this car, it's probably going back like 4 or 5 years at this point. Built it up into a little buggy, as you can see here, with the Proline Megalodon body, and kind of this cool livery on here, the X-Comp Heatwave Shreddy Edition. Let me show you what I got going on in this thing. So what we have here is just a two-wheel drive Slash. Started out as a normal like high CG chassis. I installed the low CG. The biggest changes you see here, the body, of course, the Proline Megalodon body. And these wheels make such a big difference on how this truck performs and handles. These are actually, I believe they're off an SCX 10-2 Gladiator, I think. They're Maxxis Trepador. These are crawler tires. They're kind of like a 4.7-inch crawler tire with a 1.9 plastic faux method wheel. But they look cool on here. I think they really look the part, and they handle awesome. These tires make this truck handle entirely differently than any other Slash I've driven. They do hook up pretty nice. They're pretty narrow, but that kind of just helps them dig into the dirt a little bit more. They're nice and soft, so you get a lot of compliance going over rough terrain, and they just seem to work well. The steering is really good with these. They kind of dig in and bite, so you get some nice steering. As far as any other changes here, I could definitely use a faster servo on here. This 2075X, it held up pretty well, but it's kind of slow. I think this thing would actually steer better. I do have a FlySky. I have this running on my FlySky GT5 with a gyro, with the SVC turned on, and it helps immensely with a two-wheel drive. It just fishtails like crazy when you try to put any kind of power to it. So the gyro helps. I think a faster servo would help it even more. I do have an aluminum bell crank assembly on here, some adjustable toe links and front camber links. What else? I think this is the bumper off of a Stampede, if I'm not mistaken. RPM front arms. I can barely remember all that I did to this thing. I definitely have like some RPM shock towers. Another big mod for this was the Traxxas Magnum transmission in the back. You can really fine tune the diffs on here. Whereas the stock one is just kind of filled with grease, and it doesn't really hold any kind of diff fluid, so you can't really tune. I have this thing set up pretty light, and it handles great. It's really a nice transmission setup. Shocks, I honestly couldn't even tell you at this point. I think they're just stock Slash shocks and springs, and I kind of just tuned it with some, I don't know, probably even 30 weight fluid. Not really anything super different there. Let me show you what I got going on inside here. I also have my light bar wired in here. It's held up really well. This, I forget, I think this was like an NHX brand, and then just drilled in 2 LEDs on the back there. Might eventually put some more in there. Added a little whip antenna. But inside here, just running this on 2S. It rips on 2S. 3S on this thing, it's all lost in wheel speed. If you can get traction, it's actually really fun. This thing will do wheelies and stuff. I think if I was running, I do have a set of paddle tires for this with sand front tires, and I definitely want to take this out and rip it in some sand. Then 3S makes a lot of sense. This is the 3S capable ESC. This is just, these ESCs you see all over like Amazon and eBay for like 29 bucks, 30 bucks. It's just a 120 amp. I'll link it up down below. I've had really good luck with these. It stays extremely cool. Never had any issues on 2 or 3S. They are programmable. I'll try to link up, or at least show you guys the program card I found that works with these. And you can change all of the settings, the running mode, the punch, the drag brake, everything. So it's, for what it is, for $29, it's a really nice ESC. And then I'm running just I don't even know. I'll try to link it up down below. I don't know. It's a brushless motor. It's off Amazon. I want to say, scratch up my hoodie. I want to say it's like somewhere around a 4,000 kV. I'll try to find the link when I purchased it and see exactly what I put in here. I can't see the writing on it right now. This rear bumper, I modified from, I think it was like a Slash rear bumper that I cut the ends off and just kind of had, so it offers some protection, but it has more of a buggy look to it. And that's about it. Like I mentioned, FlySky receiver with the gyro, that is key. This is Proline body mounts here, just with the little screw caps on it. They work out really well. I think that's an RPM rear shock tower front. I don't even know, but just some random stuff. This is a really inexpensive build. I mean, the body is probably the priciest thing on here. These wheels came on a trade, I don't even remember, but you can pick up any kind of just 1.9 crawler wheel will fit on here and look pretty scale and hook up nice. If you, especially like a Hyrax copy tire would probably hook up awesome, get even better traction than these. So I may experiment a little bit with some of my leftover crawler tires and wheels. They work out great, and it's a great way to use up wheels that you're not using and no one's going to want to buy anyway. So really have a lot of fun with this car. I mean, it's such a basic platform. It's inexpensive. You could pick up a two-wheel drive Slash pretty cheap, throw a cool body on it. So stay tuned, guys. You're gonna see some more of this. This is a really fun spot to run this truck. These are super fun. So let me know, guys, if you have a two-wheel drive Slash that you go out and rip, let me know. I'm curious to see how many people, because I feel like a lot of people buy them and then they're like, oh, it's just an entry level, I move on from there. And you know, you go up and you go out and buy a four-wheel drive or a UDR or whatever, and then you just never, you're like, oh, this is beginner level stuff. But honestly, these things are so much fun. They're almost indestructible, especially on 2S. I mean, I was just hammering this thing through here full throttle back and forth, and even if it hits a rock and flips over and stuff, no damage, especially with RPM stuff. It's so cheap. RPM arms and everything, it makes it nearly indestructible. And that's what I love about this. It's just a super reliable, dependable, fun to drive, easy to maintain, easy to work on. And it just rips. It's just kind of a back to basics RC. If you have a cool spot to run it, get a couple buddies together and race these things around, and you have a blast. That's it, guys. Let me show you some running video here. I'll take this thing out for a rip. Well, I already did, so I'm filming this at the end. Had a blast with this thing. Everything worked out great. But yeah, let's get to the running video and enjoy, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Later. It's kind of funny that I mentioned the gyro a couple times in the little review before the running video, and I realized that I drove this thing today, just a couple days after filming this, and I realized that my gyro wasn't really even working right. I had to just recalibrate it, and it works so much better now. I was wondering why this car was fishtailing as much as it was. I always remember it tracking way better with the gyro on, and I was messing around with it and I was like, oh damn, it's really not even working. So that's pretty funny. But hey, you don't drive a car for a while and you know, things happen. You gotta kind of go over it, make sure everything's working right. But anyway, got that situation figured out. Also realized from watching this video back that I want to do something different with the suspension. I want to have a little bit longer travel, and I was playing around with the front shocks, and I found that if I go from, I believe stock is around 80 up to a 90, that's about the longest shock I can fit. It does add quite a bit of travel to the front, so I found some 90 mil shocks that I had lying around. I think they were off like a TRX4. Played around with those. I don't really have the right springs for them yet. It was kind of better, but the springs were too soft when I ran it after doing this video. So same thing on the rear. I found some slightly longer shocks off of my Bomber, and those seem to work out really nice. So I just got to figure out the springs and the fluid, and I think it's a step in the right direction. I want to set it up a little bit lighter so I have a little bit quicker suspension action for this kind of rougher off-road. I had originally been running this thing on an indoor track that was relatively smooth, so that's how the suspension was set up. But another thing I really want to do in this truck is cut out the windows, the side windows and the windshield, and add an interior. I did find that the Lexan interior from the Vanquish Phoenix crawler fits in here really nicely, so I do have an extra one. I think I'm going to start messing around with that. I may just have to add a little bit of support, like make almost like a roll cage or some type of Kydex plastic support for the roof and the A-pillars, just to make sure that with the windows removed, the body still has some rigidity and strength. So that'll be an upcoming project. I think it'll really help add to the look of this thing. I kind of want it to look a little more scale than it does. The stickers on the windows, it just looks a little kind of toyish to me, so try to make this thing look as cool as possible, even though it's not going to be like a full-on scale replica like, say, like a UDR is. But anyway, had a lot of fun with this. Sorry for all the slow-mo, but I just think this thing looks so cool in slow motion, and honestly, it's not that impressively fast if you play it at regular speed. So slow motion, I always find too that, you know, I do so much stuff with crawlers and trail trucks. You can really appreciate them, the movement and how everything works when you're watching everything kind of happen in slow motion. You know, even in full speed with crawlers and trail trucks, it's kind of really slow, where trucks like this, everything happens so quick, you just can't see it. But that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Later.